This is a video for MSPs, and then specifically for MSPs who are considering or just playing around with the idea of growing their MSP, because we generate qualified inbound lead flow for MSPs. Of course, huge problem, hard to find. We do it, good thing. So they fill in the forms on your website, they call you on your phone, and that means you get to sit back and just grow your business. For example, Matt, when I spoke him and recorded this testimonial, which you can find on our testimonial page, he was onboarding 5 MSP contracts at that exact moment. So 5 contracts at the same time. He had to expand on his onboarding team. 0 referrals. That was all MSP Launchpad, all net new logos. They knew nothing about each other. Here we have Anthony. He made this testimonial like 3-4 years ago, still working together. And at that time, he mentioned that working with us is above and beyond everything else he has ever experienced in 12 years of running businesses. Here we have Use. When MSPs ask Use, how are you doing this? He always says that it started with MSP Launchpad. He's getting weekly qualified leads, which is okay, but on SEO only, which is really, really nice. In fact, he emailed me recently saying, this is not a testimonial, this is facts. And that he wanted to share with me that for the first time, he had 3 discovery calls on the same day from SEO, local SEO, and ChatGPT as well. And those people, they don't know anything about each other. 3 discovery calls on the same day, all MSP Launchpads, pretty cool stuff. And here we have Tom, a similar situation. So in his first year, again, it's like, just SEO, so no paid ads. In the first year, 300,000 in annual recurring revenue added, which may not seem like so much, and I agree, but he's already at 400,000 right now, and he's on track to make it 600,000 just in the first 6 months after that 1 year. So in other words, the first time to add 300,000 took 12 months, but the second time is just going to take 6 months. And I emailed him thanking him for referral, like, hey, this is awesome, thank you for the referral. And then he sent me an email back saying like, yeah, this guy's great, I think really highly of him, and don't worry about it. And by the way, so what happened is that, I took our results to my sales accountability group, and I was like, this is what's happening here, because the inquiries on the website were, in his words, off the charts, right? Which is why he is now doubling his annual recurring revenue added in half the time. So thank you, Tom. And that's how we're getting referrals. Here you have Jeremy. This is an AI generated picture. By the time that you're going to our testimonial page to find this video, this will likely have changed. But he says that before MSP Launchpad, he never really knew what marketing vendors were doing, was always left in the dark. And now with us, he knows exactly what we're doing. He got results quickly when the website went live. And he also said that it didn't involve too much effort to get it all set up. Here we have Lee, who got 14 leads. He says 13, but the month wasn't done, so it's 14. 14 leads in the first month, and 4 of those became sales, which is also awesome. But there's lots and lots of stories like this. So go to our testimonials page, and you can see more. I want to get going now, because otherwise we're going to be here forever. And here is something that's extra juicy. So if this so far sounds great, then remember that these are systems that make your prospects call and message you. Basically, we make you the most attractive MSP in your market, really, actually. And that means that then businesses will come to you wanting to buy your services, as a business should be, right? When people want to buy something, they go to the business that sells it. So we arrange that your MSP becomes desirable and therefore make your market reach out to you. So you get to sit back and get your comfy chair leads. Awesome. So if that sounds great to you, and I hope it does, because we're building MSP Launchpad painstakingly, making sure that we can provide you with this service, because I know this is a big problem. You might be wondering, well, what's the catch, right? Is there a catch? And the answer is unfortunately yes. So this does not work with every MSP. So the good news is that we know exactly which MSP is going to be working with, and you don't have to get on a call with me to figure that out. I'm just going to tell you beforehand. If you pass through these filters, we will guarantee our work. So you don't need to worry about that. Like, your risk is minimal, okay? Then also the second catch, and this is like, oh no, like it's not instant. Oh Lord. Yeah, you actually have to onboard with us, like surprise, right? I'm sure you can handle that emotionally. And then after that, sit back, comfy chair, leads, grow your MSP. So if that is something that you're like, okay, so tell me a little bit more about this then. Let's talk about it. So tell me if this is what you're looking for. So qualified leads, actual qualified leads, not junk, not information, qualified leads, businesses local to you, real, contacting you to buy your thing, right? Because actually what you want, actually you don't want leads. I mean, you want leads, but the real thing is that you want to grow your business, right? So the leads need to actually want to buy your stuff. Otherwise they're useless, right? So that's what we're supplying. That means that most of the time our clients getting conversion rates between 20 and 40%, which is significant, of course. And I also set it up in such a way that they are primarily interested in buying managed IT services, so your contracts. Occasionally, they will reach out for contract work and things like that. It's going to be up to you whether or not you take that, right? Your decision. And most of the time, these MSPs are already actively fed up with their current MSP. So they're really like in switching mode, right? They want to change, which means you can sit there like the IT genius that you are and just receive the leads and grow your business. So, for example, here, ready to buy 40 users, specifically stating like, hey, look, I've been with this other MSP for 6 years. Now I'm looking to swap. 22 users doing the same, 60 users doing the same, 200 users. So this is different. I'm not going to build a strategy on businesses over 100 users just because there aren't that many in local markets. But if there are larger businesses in your local market, the system can/will catch them if that's what you're targeting. So 200 users, 100 users, and so on, right? So if you give me a few more minutes, please, then I will tell you why we're different. And I will also tell you what kind of MSPs can have really good success with us. So before we do that, though, I want to just acknowledge the fact that I know that many MSPs get burned with marketing. Clearly, I've spoken with well over 1,000 of you, and I can't just go and disassociate with the other marketing agencies, but I'm kind of trying. Like, please understand that I am not those businesses. I have nothing to do with them. And what we're doing is actually growing your business and guaranteeing our performance if we can take you on, right? So we're trying to be the savior here, effectively. So, and obviously, I sympathize with that. For me, if I was in your shoes, losing like half a year or a year of time on some vendor that doesn't know what they're doing is absolutely horrid. Like, the money is one thing, but actually losing a half year or a year would make me want to like blow my brains out. And that is probably not YouTube safe. I'm gonna beep that. So, but yes, that would be horrible. And I'm very sorry. It's the norm, not the exception. So this happens to most MSPs, and it's not your fault, right? MSPs have the right ideas on what needs to happen, but the problem is that the marketing partners just aren't capable enough. So that is really the issue. And for someone who doesn't yet understand marketing very well, identifying what the partner needs to know is near impossible. So it happens to virtually every MSP. Fortunately, whether you've come here as us being your first marketing vendor or maybe 3, 4, 5 sometimes, we are real MSP marketing specialists, but then also specifically for inbound marketing. So the reason that we're so effective and we know exactly who we can help is because we are specialists for specialists. So we're 2 layers deep. And that means you get the awesome dinosaur with us. So on the one hand, you have all the dying MSP lead generation or general lead generation, all the stuff that doesn't work, graveyard stuff. You're getting clicks, you're getting impressions, you're getting rankings. Oh, look, it's gonna work, that stuff, right? And on the other hand, you have the awesome dinosaur, and the awesome dinosaur just gets you leads, hopefully as quickly as the website goes up, right? So people that know what they're doing, basically. And so we give you the awesome, well, not Charizard, but Power Ranger, Robot, Megatron, Optimus Prime, MSP lead generation, effectively. Okay, so then what is new about what we're doing things? So that means that when we say what's new, then we're actually kind of comparing to what's in the market most of the time. And most marketing vendors, they do, well, one of 2 things. So one, They may stick to things that are very outdated, that don't work anymore, like the really old school SEO with the links and the search engine and stuff like that, that people really have been navigating away from for years already. Or maybe some other things that are particularly popular in the MSP space, for example, is cold calling, which I think still works, but it's like insanely difficult to pull off compared to 15, 20 years ago. I'm not saying it doesn't work, it does, but I mean, success stories are far and few between. But what low-level marketers also really do is they just do really half the work, right? As I just mentioned. So they just go like, oh, rankings, oh, clicks, like that is magically supposed to grow your business, but it's not. That's not how it works anymore. Because when a prospect goes on the internet to find an MSP to do business with, they're going to find 50 MSPs, right? Like if a prospect in your market is trying to find an MSP to do business with and they're going to search for an MSP, they're probably going to find what? 10, 30, 50 options or something of the sort, right? Clearly, because this is like a typical result. So, and who's going to care about these MSPs? There's going to be just a few that are getting all the leads, the ones that are the most attractive. But if you're just one of those 50, you're going to get nothing. And this is what happens to all those 50 MSPs, right? None of them are getting squat. It's just a few that get everything. So clearly, it's not enough that your prospects can see you or find you, right? Because all those 50 MSPs are visible, so they're ranking one way or another in varying degrees, sure, but they're ranking one way or another. So the real art, and that's the thing that most marketing agencies, or all of them actually, and MSPs really, really struggle with, is making sure that your prospects actually pick specifically your MSP, right? And that is why inbound marketing specialists have that little extra magic flavor, because that is what we specialize in. So yes, of course, we can still rank you higher than I reckon most people, right? Because we've done this over 100 times. We literally have data banks with data on how we approach things. We have all the SOPs, we have all the targeting lists, we have everything. But also we can do the second thing that is often missing in MSP's campaigns. It's not so much the ranking, it's why would they pick you, right? That magic sauce. And that is something that we're also very, very good at. So for example, Josh, 2 leads in one day, the usual. So we have data sets, and that makes our installation pretty much plug and play. Like we've done this so many times that it's very repeatable to us. United States, America, Canada, England, and Australia. If you're in one of those markets, extra leg up. We sometimes take business in a different market, New Zealand, so on and so forth. Occasionally even a different language. But if you're in one of these markets, you're going to have a great time. Plus, aside from all those data sets and all the targeting and all the things that takes hundreds of thousands of dollars of experimentation to build that we already have, that you would have to invest with another marketing agency because they still have to build that before they can get success with your account. We also know exactly how to make customers, prospects pick you. And that is MSP marketing fundamentals. So we'll be working on that for you as well. And that is actually the thing that's going to make you break and cut through all the noise in the market, and has, what do I say? It's the correct communication and value proposition to a certain target market that allows them to see that you're the right MSP for them, right? That's in the end is what it's all about. So Matt, this one was interesting because he sent me this message on a Thursday and he said, close that one from Tuesday, right? And then I wanted to point it out because when people come in to look for another MSP, they're so fed up with their existing MSP because no one likes switching MSPs and they hold it off. I don't want to switch my MSP. I don't want to switch. I don't want to switch. And in the meantime, MSPs are cold calling, right? But I don't want to switch. But then at some point, they're fed up and they've had enough and now they need someone else because they can't take it anymore. And then they close the sale in 2 days, right? We find that the average sales cycle is about 30 days, which in the MSP space is also pretty snappy, right? Matt also, by the way, got roughly 20 clients after about 1.5 years of active campaigning. And again, all the video testimonials are on our testimonial page, right? He's been with us for 2 years, but he had to shut down his campaigns for half a year, and then we got them going again, and voila, 20 clients. So grow your MSP with this awesome local inbound lead flow because it's high quality stuff. Here we have Jeff. First week, 3 prospects. Roman, website up. 2 weeks in, 120 seat endpoint leads. Matthew already got a few leads. Chris also just like you is talking about his ChatGPT leads, which of course is hip these days. And there's a few more. Here we have Lee, and I really like this one, to be honest, because I love impressing people that are hard to impress. And he mentioned Tyler and Neil are thrilled. That is rare. Great job. Very nice. This is something I'm particularly proud of because I used to work inside the MSP space myself. We used to work with ConnectWise. I was the head of sales and marketing at an international MSP. And ConnectWise recently started sending us the first business, like out of nowhere. Like I got prospects on calls with me and saying like, yeah, we got sent by our rep at ConnectWise. And I'm like, awesome. Like I never speak to anyone at ConnectWise ever. I'm not affiliated with that company at all. So the fact that this is happening, I am very, very proud of that. Also, vendors like this often have things like marketing development funds. If you apply for some of those, then there's a very good chance they'll spend it on us. We've actually never been denied. So it's worth considering. Okay, so will this work for you? So here are some of the things that are required, right? And it helps if you just think about the fact that what we do is we fundamentally create your marketing campaigns as they're supposed to be done. So this is not gimmicky work. We make your MSP the most attractive in the market based on everything that's necessary about brand and offer and all these things. And that's so everything. We're going to be doing that. So don't worry about it. And you're going to green light everything. Like, yeah, this is awesome. Go ahead. But that does mean that we're going to be dependent on what's inside your local market. And yes, we can advertise further away, but that's more expensive. It's nicer if you can advertise, again, in a local market or maybe multiple local markets. So then your local market should be business dense enough, right? There should be enough business around. And you know that about your local market. If you think there is enough business, then you're probably correct. If you think there's probably not enough business, you're also probably correct. Most of the time, in most markets, most businesses looking for MSP services are anywhere in the 15 to 80 user range. So whether you're targeting a little bit on the smaller side or a little bit on the larger side, no problem whatsoever. You want us to talk more about co-managed IT or not at all, fully managed, you like all the pain points, etc. We've got it all figured out. But the thing is that if you have a strategy, or sorry, if you want to attract customers that are like 200 endpoints plus, that's not this, right? Because there aren't that many inside your local market. So you need to be okay with like roughly the 15 to 80 endpoint range, then you can target in between. Then also, of course, you can have a preference and say, I don't want to work with dentists or I don't want to work with 1 or 2 other industries. But you should be able to take on most of the business that is coming through. Because if you're going to be rejecting like 75% of the business that we send through, that doesn't make any sense, right? Then you should probably try to find another model that does work for you. So if you're industry agnostic and you would work with pretty much any industry out there, then we're a good fit for you. So that being said, these 3 things are super duper required. If you're missing just one, you're probably not the right fit for us. However, we have some more conditions, and some of them, they're not as strong as this, but they're still relevant. And for that reason, I would like to ask you to watch a video on who we can help and who we cannot. You'll find that on our website's homepage that really further dials in the fit and even talks about things like bonus enhancers, which are a very cool word. And if you have more bonus enhancers, you can get even more aggressive results, right? So take a look at that video if you can. But of course, that's only necessary if you hit all 3 of these already, because if you just hit 1 or 2, you're out. So, possible avenues for you to take. We're about to wrap up. Just want to say that before starting with us, I mean, of course, do your research on us, go into the communities, ask around, all the usual, right? There's also some videos that I've prepared for you. So the video I just mentioned about who we can help and who we cannot, that's pretty interesting, I think. I put a TLDR at the beginning so you don't have to watch the whole thing and just can establish the fit pretty much straight away. Then how your lead generation system is going to work. Another video. This is kind of like MSP Launchpad, the movie. And this really talks about a lot. We're simulating what it's like to be a prospect inside the local market. We are showing funnels that work. We talk about timelines and roadmaps. We talk about inbound marketing in general. So there is a lot there. And what's also cool about this is that this is kind of like a juiced up version of something that we use during onboarding and other products. So if you watch this now, you're actually already saving time in the future, right? So you can just guilt-free spend time on this, knowing that it is maximally efficient, right? Then we also have a video on basically the different levels of service that we offer, the different products that we have, and which kind of ways you can work with us, done for you, do it yourself, hybrid model, etc. So worth a watch maybe. And then, download stuff, watch testimonials and so on. And when you feel like, yes, MSP Launchpad is my company, then reach out, schedule a call, and then we'll see whether or not we can work together. That would be great. Of course, you're going to have questions, but just come on in. Okay, so if you do want to save some time, check out some of these videos first, especially the TLDR and who we can help is a big one. Just one final note, and this is really, sorry, but this is kind of for my convenience. I have a few things going on in my life. For example, I have a baby girl on the way. And also I have really dedicated my life literally to solving the MSP lead generation problem, build a beautiful company around it with employees that don't leave. And we're all super focused and like, wow, MSP lead generation. The only thing that I'm asking in return is that in order for me to do really effective work, what I like to do is I set a few starting points in the month that we take on new business. So everything stays nice and streamlined internally. So that means if the sales cycle drags on and on and on and on, that can really mess up my planning. Therefore, please, if we'd be so kind that when you come in for the first call, you're going to get all the information, you're going to get your questions answered, etc. Of course, we can sign up straight away if you want. But if you want to take a little bit of time to consider, then is it okay if we just think about it for a maximum of 10 days? That should be plenty of time to discuss internally with the other stakeholders and then get a yes or a no going for one of the future dates, right? So 10 days, we either sign the agreement or we don't. If you're cool with that time frame, I'm not trying to be pushy, but it's like, then we have some like structure to the whole flow as well. So I hope that's okay with you. And then my final bit of the presentation. So two things. One is like a statement that might be weirdly sentimental to you. So I speak with a lot of you guys and I'm from the space and I want to give a piece of advice, which is like also in my self-interest, unfortunately, is that please be very careful with your capital, right? And your time. And please reconsider if you're going for something that is just slightly cheaper, where you're already like pretty sure the ROI is going to be effed. You know what I mean? So, because sometimes you just look at what the immediate expense is and you're like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. But the upside is also way smaller and there's no things like performance guarantees and so on. So that's taking an unnecessary amount of risk. Because we're trying to create systems for you that are like, well, not entirely risk-free, but like pretty freaking risk-free. And just consider that gambling time and money is really expensive. For example, and I actually have stories around this. So on the right here, we have Ben, and Ben wasted $100,000 on marketing. Google Ads, actually, specifically just Google Ads, so probably more, the total amount, before he signed up with us and he had his first sale 3 weeks after our website went live. Then we have Jonathan, who also spent more than $100,000 on marketing with also 0 results, or really close to 0, and then came to us and poof, problem solved, right? In like weeks, months, a month, couple of weeks. With Jonathan specifically, he's in our mastermind, in our do-it-yourself program. And I was on a one-on-one call with him. And he asked me, hey, Louis, do you remember that we spoke 3 years ago as well? And I said, hey, I'm so sorry, but I don't remember. And he said, yeah, during that call, you were very direct with me, which I am. I'm from the Netherlands. You get really full transparency, ethics, and just like directness from me. He said, you were really direct with me. You said like, look, Jonathan, I think that I'm probably going to be the only one who's capable of helping you with this. And please consider working with me, right? And Jonathan then said, was explained to me that he thought that he could find like maybe a better deal someplace else, and then he proceeded to run through those 6 figures, pretty much, right? And then he reached out to me again, and then we solved this problem. So be careful. These are real people. You can reach out to everyone you want, right? Obviously, everything, the videos, full transparency, everything. Okay. Don't bother them too much, please, but you can. And thank you so much for your time. And be careful. And if you think that we may potentially be a good fit to work together, if you pass those 3 requirements already, then I recommend just at least watching TLDR on that next video, being who we can help and who we cannot, and then just taking it from there. Thank you so much for your time. And we build MSP Launchpad to do the things we're saying we can do. So I hope that we can also apply that to your MSP. I mean, MSP lead generation has been a huge problem. So hopefully this kind of solves it for the kinds of MSPs that we can help. Hey, thanks a lot, and I hope to see you around on that call. Take care.